What is up, y'all? And welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. And today, after many months, your boy is doing another manga haul. Now, it's been, I think, like 5 months. I don't think I've done a manga haul since, I think April was my last time doing a manga haul this year. And it is now the last day of September. Um, so, for one, I slowed down the manga, and two, I kind of wanted to kind of break out of the mold of feeling like I had to do manga hauls every month because that's not really what this channel is. But I do enjoy finding dope manga and sharing it with y'all. So that's what we're gonna do today. So today we're gonna pretty much cover everything that I've picked up over the last 5 months. So everything I picked up from May to September, including just like a couple hours ago. And some digital stuff that I got review copies of. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. So I'm gonna start with some stuff that some of y'all are familiar with. If you've been following my channel for a while, I've already reviewed these months ago, but just for the sake of this haul and to document this for my future self of when I bought stuff at one point in time, whatever. So to start off our summer 2022 manga haul, got a couple here. Blue Lock, most of y'all already know, because this fall and like in another week or whatever, the anime for this is going to be starting. I read the first volume of this. It was very dope. Long story short, it basically follows this basically this organization is gathering all of the best players all around Japan to create basically the ultimate striker. And so they take these kids and lock them in this facility called Blue Lock, and pretty much for the next, I think it's like next year, 6 months to a year, they get no outside contact with friends, family, nothing. It is just all about soccer. But this first volume was very dope, and I'm looking forward to experiencing more when the anime comes in October for fall season. Next up, Crazy Food Truck. Basically as the name suggests, follows a guy who is on basically on a journey through a post-apocalyptic world with his food truck. But he meets this mysterious girl along the way. They have some crazy badass action and moments. This first volume was solid. I know volume 2 is already out. I haven't picked it up yet, but also volume 3 is coming out soon, and it's only 3 volumes long. So I'm gonna wait till volume 3 is out and just read the whole thing. But yeah. And like I said, y'all can check out reviews for both of those on my channel. Next up, Box of Light. This is one I started reading. I haven't finished reading it, but Box of Light basically surrounds around this convenience store that is at the bridge between life and death. So basically, some people, I guess when they're kind of like at certain moments in their life and they're about to come to a moment where it's like, okay, they're either gonna die and pass on, or they'll continue living their day-to-day lives. So it's not nice little kind of like slightly, not, I don't know if I want to say creepy, but just an interesting premise, whatever. I know my boy Otaku and Trainer, he wasn't too hot on it, but I still want to read it myself and make a decision for myself. But we'll see. And of course, the cover and the title caught my attention too. So, but so yeah, so let's dive in. Another one that I read real quick. World in Salty. Now this one, I'm gonna read the synopsis of this one because it's kind of a little hard to remember because I read this a couple months ago. But in a world plagued by magical pollution, Salty, an orphan whose mother and father were killed trying to wipe out this blight, decides to follow in her parents' footsteps. But rather than cleansing the pollution, she wants to venture into it. Like the salvagers who reclaim treasure from its depths, only she wants to travel further to see if she can find the other side. So I read this first volume. It was good enough to grab my attention to want me to find out more of what is going on. Just because of this whole premise of this magical pollution, and just trying to just figure out like what happened and stuff. Now I will say this story is also by the same author who did Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Now I know a lot of people enjoy the manga for that, the anime for it.
I watched the first like episode or two, or whatever, dropped it or whatever. But I heard people were like, "Nah, the manga is way better." And so, like I said, I enjoyed the first volume of this. So we'll see how that goes. And I have not been saying what publishers and stuff this stuff is from, but y'all will look it up and find it out. Find out. Another one that I've read, Sensei's Pious Life, Volume One. Um, so the synopsis of this, and this one is a little bit different, more mature themed, because it basically follows this teacher who is dealing with an abusive relationship, and she ends up connecting in a way with a male student who is also dealing with some abusive relationships and stuff. And it kind of just goes through and follows a lot of characters on all sides, both characters that are being abused, characters that are being abusers, and so it was just a very interesting story to read. And so, like I said, I know there's more volumes that's already out, whatever, but I want to kind of maybe check back in on this one a little bit later. But I enjoyed this one. The author of this, her name is Akane Torikai. And interesting thing is that her husband is I always forget, but I got his manga here. Her husband is Inuo Asano, who did Solanin and Downfall. So pretty interesting dynamic duo who both do kind of like some psychological thriller type of series. So, but yeah, so Sensei's Pious Life. So let's dive in and let me see. And this is another one I read a while back, Colorless Volume One. Um, Now I will say the premise and setup of this sounding cooler than what I actually read. Now, what I read was decent, but it didn't like fully hook me. Now, I don't know, maybe I might go back later on and like reread this volume. But first of all, like for one, I do like the feel of this. I like the look of this. Um, and it's just very dope though, like the premise, because it's basically because of a disaster happened on Earth that basically took away all color. And so there are like some traces of color still left in the world, but majority of the people in the world now don't remember a world with color. And so the few times throughout this that they do use color, it is pretty cool and pretty striking. But the art style of this was pretty dope and pretty interesting. But like I said, I don't know, just something about like the premise, whatever. See, like here's a few splashes of color there, but something about it, I don't know, just didn't like fully hook me like I was hoping it would. Um, but like I said, I'll check back in on it later. Uh, Let me go ahead. Let me see. Okay, so now some stuff I haven't read yet. This one, looking forward to reading. It's called Game Between the Suits. Now this one follows at 27. Sayo is married to her career. She's the kind of woman who will answer work calls while having sex. When her firm hires charming playboy Ryoji, Sayo tries to resist his advances, but not for long. Soon they're plunging into purely physical relationship, agreeing that they'll only play this love game until they find true romance. So, some little adult manga that I had to make sure this is safe to show. But I haven't read it yet. But it was one that when they announced it like last year, whatever, I was like, okay, put it on my radar. I'm gonna check it out. So, but yeah, more mature theme. All right, now this is one I really enjoyed, and the only reason why I haven't reviewed it yet is because Volume 2 is coming out in October, and I was like, okay, I want to read both volumes together and do a review then. So there will be a review coming for this soon because I definitely enjoyed this first volume. But Momo, the Blood Taker. Now, first of all, look at this freaking cover. The cover, the spine, everything caught my attention because I was at Barnes and Noble's some months back, whatever. Which side tangent? I think I forgot to even fully dive into this. So this summer, I got to buy a lot of my manga thanks to one, me being awesome at work, and they rewarded us with these like applause points, whatever. And I was like, okay, what the heck are these points? And it's, hey, you can redeem these points for some stuff. And I'm like, okay, nothing here interesting. Then I found out they had Barnes and Noble's gift cards. So and my boss them gave me enough rewards points where I was able to get like $200 or something worth of gift cards. So yeah. So anyway, so I was browsing around and the spine caught my attention. I'm like, okay, Momo, what is that? And then when I looked at this cover, I was like, yo, I need to find out more. So Tokyo is plagued by a string of murders where the victim is drained of blood. While the city whispers about vampires, Detective Mikogami Keigo seeks to avenge his murdered lover. As he stalks the man with two faces, Mikogami catches the attention of a mysterious silver-haired girl. Now, yeah, this one, this was a pretty meaty first chapter. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it has 8 chapters in here. Um, and it has some pretty surprising twists and turns with what was going on with the story. But yeah, Momo the Blood Taker, um, yeah, definitely very good. Now I was a little concerned at first because they make the vampire one of like the main vampire chicks, whatever. They make her look like a freaking young lady, and I'm like, because like when you first open the volume, you see like this like young looking person looking in some suggestive stuff. Like, okay, what is this? But then I find out, okay, she's a vampire. She's hundreds of years old. But I just hate when series do that. I'm like, why can't y'all have older characters actually look older instead of doing this little cutesy stuff? Anyway, that aside, a very dope story for this first volume. Very bloody, very gory. Next up, let me see. I'm looking through my pile I got here. Alrighty. So, next up, I picked up Land of the Lustrous Volumes 1 and 2. Now, this is a series I've heard about for a long time. Matter of fact, it had until recently been on hiatus for I think like a handful of years, but it finally came back. But the thing that kind of like put it back on my radar is because back during the summer when they announced the new Trigun anime, and of course people were like, this got CG or whatever, but the CG looked decent from what I saw. And people were like, hey, the same people who did that also did the Beastars anime and the Land of the Lustrous anime. And so I looked at like a few clips of that. I was like, okay, that looks interesting. And so the story of this is in a world inhabited by crystalline life forms called the Lustrous, every unique gem must find their way of life against the threats of Lunarians, shout out to One Piece, who would turn them into decorations. Feliciphyte, the most fragile and brittle of gems, longs to join the battle. When Foss is instead assigned to complete a natural history of her world, it sounds like a dull and pointless task, but this new job brings Foss into contact with Cinnabar, a gem forest to live in isolation. And yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm interested in I've read like a little bit of it or whatever, but I don't know. Like I said, just the premise and the art style and stuff and all these beautiful covers always got my attention, so I'm looking forward to reading more and checking that out. Next up, a little favorite gem of mine this summer, Lost Lad London, volumes 1 and 2. Now, this story, I'm trying to think. I saw somebody post about one of this author's other series, who is Shima Shinya. Uh, some other manga series they had as well, and they also worked on there's like a Star Wars manga as well that they did collaborated with somebody else on. But Lost Lad London is basically like a murder mystery series. I'm only gonna read the first couple of lines because I don't want to spoil too much. But basically, it takes place in London, where the mayor of this town is found dead on the subway train, and this college student, Al, ends up getting tied into it and seen as a prime suspect because Unbeknownst to him, he was on the train, on that same train or whatever, and so it kind of follows him and this detective Adley, and they kind of come together to try to piece together what happened, what's going on with this story. And like I said, the cover and like the style, like the visual art style of this, just, I don't know, it's just something about it just looks really different, and that's what stood out to me. And like I said, plus it's some older characters. Like I said, both of ethnicity. I can't remember what ethnicity the young guy is, but the fact that he is a college student, so it's like that's a plus. And then black detective, police officer. But yeah, I read both volumes, really enjoyed it. This is also going to be another short series. It's only going to be, I think, like 3 volumes. So I'm interested to see the next volume and to see what's going on with that. Now, going to a couple more. Let me see. All right, let's go to a few continuations I picked up. Now, y'all know how much I talked about in the past, how much I loved Blue Period. And so I've been picking up the volumes that take place after season 1 as they've been coming out. So I got volume 7, 8, and 9. And the fun thing is that they've been putting these out once a month. They're pretty much at the point where they're doing almost monthly. And so I'm like, okay, because I looked at the calendar and I'm like, okay, we're going to have like volume 12 by, December, January. So I'm like, hey, I'm away. I haven't touched it yet or whatever. So I'm excited. Just because, like I said, how much I loved that anime of this and those characters, and now this is the next arc of them going to university or whatever. So I'm very curious to see like what is going on with that. If you have not seen or read a Blue Period, I highly encourage it. Especially if you are a creator of any sort, whether you do YouTube content creation, you're a manga artist, you're just a regular artist, you do anything creative, Blue Period is a series that everybody should experience. So, but yeah, I'm interested. I'm excited for like the end of the year where I have like 5 or so volumes to just like to binge read or whatever. So, all right, these next couple, just a couple of continuations I picked up. From the Red Fog, Volume 2, and Yakuza Reincarnation Volume 2, which, funny enough, both of these, the volume 1s for both of these, my reviews for both of these, are 2 of my most watched videos on my channel to this point. So I'm glad to know that y'all enjoyed me talking about the stuff that I enjoyed. So now the last 2 physical things that I picked up, I was torn between these 2 because I've heard so many great things about both these series, and I was wanting to get 2 volumes of both of one of these, but I decided to split the difference and get 1 volume of each. And what I'm talking about is volume 1 of Ragna Crimson and volume 1 of The Witch and the Beast. Now, Ragna Crimson, which, first of all, both of these have an anime coming out next year. So, yeah, I am very excited about that. And that's kind of like another thing that kind of like pushed me to want to go ahead and dive in and try it out. But man, first page of Ragna Crimson, look at that art. It looks so freaking good. But as far as like the premise, in this action-packed dark fantasy, humanity lives under the threat of annihilation by immensely powerful dragons. The dragon hunter Ragna embarks on a revenge-filled quest to eliminate that threat once and for all. So, I've heard nothing but great things about this, and I've heard that at some point within like the first like few volumes or whatever, something crazy happens that makes like a shift that people are like, yo, y'all need to read this. So I'm excited to dive in. I will be doing a review on this once I get around to it. And same thing for Witch and the Beast. This also has freaking stunning art. Like, look at that. And look at that. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why there's like a giant shark looking thing in the sky, but hey. I'm down. But so the premise for this, a witch is cursed. Uh, Gwydia, a feral girl with long fangs and the eyes of a beast. Ashaf, a soft-spoken man with delicate features and a coffin strapped to his back. See, I haven't even read this synopsis. This ominous pair appears one day in a town that's in thrall to a witch who has convinced the townsfolk that she's their hero. But Guido and Asif know better. They have scores to settle, and they won't hesitate to remove anyone in their way. Uh, a dark, stylish fairy tale for fans of Triple X Holic and Noragami. So, but yeah, I've heard great things about this, and like I said, the art, just like with Witch Hat Atelier and Magus of the Library, that's what like initially got my attention. But yeah, so excited to dive into this, and hey, it's spooky season, so perfect timing with that. Now, that's all for my physical pickups. Now, let's dive into some digital things that I got or that I got access to that I still want to at least share and talk to y'all about real quick. So, first up, Rooster Fighter Volume 1. Now, Rooster Fighter literally follows a rooster who is fighting demons on a revenge journey that he's on. And when I tell y'all, and once again, I did a review for this, so go check out my channel for the full review, but man, this was such a fun and action-packed read that I did not expect. The art in this manga is some of the most detailed that I have seen in a long time. A very long time. And it was very, like I said, very surprising when I read it, and I was like, yo, this is freaking dope. And so, like I said, and like the action scenes, it is top tier for real. And of course, I look at that cover, like how could you not be intrigued when you see this cover? So yeah, so it's a Rooster Fighter. Definitely go and check that out. Now, you know what? Let's keep the hype train going of stuff that I read and reviewed that had me so hype. So next up, The Beginning After the End, Volume 1. Now, this one basically follows the main character who, King Gray, who basically he passes away and he gets reincarnated as a young boy, basically. And his journey, hold on, let me see, because it's been like some months, sorry. Reincarnates his art, a baby born in a world of magic and monsters, equipped with the memories of his past life. So yeah, basically it is a very dope, super action heavy series that I read like the first, because I ended up reading past this on like the app that this comic is on. Tappy Toon, I think, is what it was on. But anywho, that was a super fun, super dope read. So Beginning After the End, go check out my review for that one. And Shangri-La Frontier. This is another one. This is another one that has an anime coming out next year, and I think also a video game. But Shangri-La Frontier, man, go check out my full review for this one as well. But this one follows a kid or high school student who basically he loves playing bad video games. But one day he decides to try an actually good game called Shangri-La Frontier, and it's basically him going through this world. Sometimes by himself, sometimes he has a party with some of his friends. But this series, for me as a gamer, like super spoke to my gamer heart, because they talk about like him getting stat boosts and equipment, armor, leveling up, choosing different perks and skills and all this stuff. But this series also has really cool lore and world building as well, with the kind of like premise of like everybody in this game, even though the game has been around for a couple of years, there are these kind of like 7 or so like mythical beasts or bosses throughout the world that nobody has been able to beat, let alone people only know the identity of like 2 to 3 of them. And so he ends up encountering one of like the strongest bosses early on in the series, and yeah, but yeah, it was just a very dope, very fun read. So go check out Shangri-La Frontier. Volume 1 of that is out in stores now. Um, Now, these last couple, Let's Go Karaoke and Captivated by You. Both of these are done by the same author, Yama Wayama. And Captivated by You was interesting. It was an interesting read just to kind of compare this to Let's Go Karaoke. But Let's Go Karaoke was the one that I enjoyed way better. Because Let's Go Karaoke basically follows this Yakuza member who needs to get ready for a karaoke contest with his with all the Yakuza members for his boss, and he ends up finding this high school student who's a senior high school student who's very good at singing, and so he ends up getting this kid to help him train, and they go on little adventures and stuff, whatever. So, but both of those was very dope, very cool reads. Um, and one of the last ones I'm gonna touch on today is When a Cat Faces West. Now, this series is also done by the same person who did the series. Is it Mushishi? This series, Mushishi. So, same author, and you can immediately tell just because of the the art style. But yeah, this one was so fascinating. And this is also a short one that's only 3 volumes long. So I need to go read volumes 2 and 3. But basically, so the synopsis of this is flow. So flow, the phenomenon that occurs when matter falls out of balance and changes form. Flow creates oddities both big and small. They can be disruptive or delightful in equal measure, and it's up to flow disposal departments and independent contractors to shepherd flow back to its natural form. So basically, it centers around this 35-year-old woman who she gets exposed to some flow and gets stuck back in her 12-year-old body. And so she ends up teaming up with Hirota, this guy who's a contractor who goes and takes care of cases surrounding flow. Um, and it was just very fascinating just because of the fact of like each case was something like very different. Like there was one to where uh basically the thing that caused the flow to go out of place, whatever, is that there was a case of flow in the area, and this senior student was passing through, and he was kind of like having some mental turmoil because he's at that stage of his life to where he's having to make decisions about, okay, what are you gonna do after high school? Where are you gonna go to college, or where are you gonna work, and all this stuff, whatever. And what that flow those thoughts manifested as is that this one street turned into a multiple branching path or whatever. And so basically, until they kind of got the boy to kind of like resolve his inner turmoil, people couldn't go into the area. People were stuck in their houses, all this other weird stuff. One of my favorites was um, there was a mirror that connected to other mirror universes, and so there were like duplicates of characters jumping between the mirrors, and so it turned into like them teaming up with their mirror versions of themselves to try to figure out like, okay, where did this start? How do we fix it and stuff, whatever. So, but it's just a very different, very unique story. Like I said, much like Mushishi, which I've watched like a handful of episodes for, but I can definitely see that similar DNA for, in that. So yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as like everything that I got to pick up over the course of this summer. But yeah, so that's everything that I picked up over the course of this summer. So from May to September 2022. Lots of great things. I read a lot of good stuff. Reviewed some very cool things. Like I said, make sure to check out my channel. And or if you just want to hear audio, check out the podcast feed for all those reviews and stuff as well. And yeah, lots of great stuff. And let me know down in the comments below, because like I said, I know it's been a while since I've done this specifically, even though I've still done the podcast and stuff, whatever. But let me know what y'all picked up this summer. What were some of your favorite reads or pickups and finds this summer? And yeah. So I honestly, I don't know when the next time I might do a manga haul, because like I said, I'm trying to slow down on doing these as frequently, whatever. And plus, I've had a lot of like life and work changes and stuff, whatever. So I'm also having to be a little bit more careful with my money for the time being. But y'all always know here at Daddy's Talk, you know your boy always gonna put you on some very interesting, some very cool manga and webtoons as well. With shout out to the webtoon A Man's Man. Uh, but yeah, so lots of dope stuff on the horizon. Lots of dope stuff in my stack to read. So y'all have an awesome day, week, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Y'all be easy. Peace.